Like I know Paris had a couple good things happen this year, but like London or Paris, for people like not spending money or not trying to win, like I think this is an organization that is trying to win and willing to spend and doing like the extra steps. So like I think they'll figure it out, but it has to be frustrating when you're doing those things and not seeing success. But I'm not worried about the organization.
To counter that though, like sometimes teams really heavily invest, and then it's like, we can't do that again. We have to build up from young talent, or we got to think about this a little bit differently. It'll be interesting to see. This is a lineup. I don't know if you're a rocker, maybe there's someone you build around. I guess we'll wait and see. I think Fame had some solid series as a rookie. You always are going to have Attach. We know what Attach can do. It's just a giant question mark. This could be a team wipe when it comes to roster mania. That you could rebuild from scratch.
I didn't I guess watch enough of Fame individually to know if he's a super smart player or I don't have a sense of that yet, how good he is. But I know just from a raw talent perspective, sometimes, bro, he had a couple snaps here and there where I was watching, and I was like, he's got a little juice, bro. He was real snappy and won some ridiculous gunfights at times. So I think this one is there.
It feels like he's a great teammate. I mean, he ran the AR, he ran the sub, he did whatever they kind of had to do.
I don't really know him well yet. How you kind of learn get to know players and stuff. I'm not really there yet, but he seems like he's got a shot to make some noise on the road.
Yeah, it's just always tough. I feel like if you're an org when you're in this spot, because you're going into a new title. And you don't really know if you have a backbone, a duo. I feel like the best case scenario is, all right, we have a duo to build off of, or a couple of players to build off of. And now you're sitting there I don't know if any of these guys are staying. Do you just bring Fame back? Do you allow him to build a really young roster? Coming from challengers, he may have a couple of ideas, but this will be an interesting org to watch moving forward.
I put a question disappointing after the third place type thing, question mark. I don't really think so, because I don't think any of us thought that third was actually a third. It was a Mickey Mouse third, call what you want, but they weren't a top 3 team. So
yeah, I mean, they beat in front of them. It's not like they did that, but
you didn't have my expectations for Chance personally, so not shocked. No. Well, I guess they did take them to win one series. They might not have. So all right, Thieves. This is an interesting one, because this is probably the one I struggle with the most when we were doing the bracket. I think Joe and I have said it 4,000 times that this coaching staff and this core, we always thought they were going to be a team that figured out at the end of the year, that started to click. Listen, you lose to Ultra, who got to the final. You lose to Seattle, who finally hit a little bit of form at the end of the year. It's not like they're the worst losses, but you won a chance last year. The expectation is that you're going to make a run, I guess. We kind of assumed they'd make a run.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is their hard point was not great at all. They were 1-3 this weekend. I mean, if you tell me this team's 50-50 in search and control, I think they could probably beat some teams just due to their hard point. I think the biggest question mark for me is Major 2, you get second place, right? And then maybe you have a bit of a stage 3 where it's off, right? Jiraza had a really bad stage, and then they bounce back Major 4 and win. I just feel like with this core roster and with what we saw in Vanguard, with their coaching staff, as soon as it's sort of all right, we figured out this game, we should be good. And it's it regressed heavily. And I don't really know why. I guess my guess would probably be just maybe inconsistencies from there were a couple of players.
I'm going to be blunt now. Listen, the fact is, it's one of these situations where there's some distractions and some team related stuff, just shit we really dive into, just not public. But there are some reasons that it went down this way, and probably information that'll come out with time. But they weren't necessarily at 100% going into this. They weren't able to make that run.
Yeah, but I just think in general, if you look at the year, it felt like both of the subs in Kenny and Envoy, one would have a good event or a solid event, and then the other would really struggle. The one event that they both played well, they won. I think Octane was solid for them the entire year. Jiraza, he did have his ups and downs, but when he was playing well, they were difficult to beat. It's just, to me, the sub duo was